Well, I thought I would talk a little bit about what's going on now that the summer is coming. Well, we're in the mature end of the summer, beginning of autumn's coming. Mm-hmm. Nesting has happened. Fledglings have fledged. There are young, silly animals around, crossing roads and flying into windows and doing all sorts of daft things because they're young and silly. And things are changing in the Highlands. The climate has been very strange this year. But one way and another, life goes on for all the animals. And what happens after the fledglings are fledged, in other words, they're on their own, they get kicked out really by their parents quite a lot. And they have to manage on their own. And so what you often see, and we see this a lot, Floss, when we go bird watching, at this time of year or a little bit later, we see what we call mixed species flocks, MSFs, apparently. Yes. The scientists have actually given it an acronym. Anyhow, these mixed species flocks are usually small birds, and they gang up together, because they're looking for food. They have no territories. Their mum and dad have chucked them out of home, and they have to find new territories. But above all, they have to find food. So they need safety and they need food. If they all get together, they can actually form a really good little group that can benefit one another, depending on the species. So you'll get some species that will flush out flying insects. Anything that's like a fantail. The fantails are very good at flushing out when they spin their tails and spin their flutters and everything. They flush them out of the canopy. Then you've got thornbills, which are insectivorous. Most of these birds that bandy together are insectivorous, funnily enough, but they're all choosing slightly different parts of the habitat, of the ecological niches, even on a tree. So you will get some thornbills. One species will be up in the canopy, another at the mid layer, another on the ground. And they will work together. They don't really think of it, I don't think. They're not unionized. But it's working for them. It works for them. So, and they can move around in a large flock, and that keeps them safe from big predatory animals that might take them out, like currawongs or some of the raptors and so on and so forth, and of course foxes. So there they are. They're in these mixed flocks, and in there you will also have gleaners from leaf surfaces like pardalots, who only feed on the undersides of leaves. So no competition with the other birds there. And the fact that they're all moving around together, you will actually watch them. We've seen them moving as a sort of an entire group.
Yeah, it's a fabulous experience, actually, isn't it?
Yeah.
What we haven't said so far is you're right that they are almost always insectivores, but people need to be picturing these are the tiny birds. So, yep, the little thornbills, as Lou said, and I've seen red-browed finches in these groups and superb fairy wrens in these groups, all the little tinies, and you can be just out in the bush. Or I actually had a group pass through my garden in the last couple of days, and they're there just for a minute or two, going berserk in one tree, and then they just move on. Yep. It's a really fabulous experience.
And you've got tree creepers, the white-throated tree creeper, who just goes for the bark, and the sitella, who also goes for the bark.
Yeah,
the sitella but moves down the bark, when the tree creeper moves up the bark. So they're not competing with one another, and they're actually benefiting one another. And keeping safe together. So it's a wonderful thing, I think, to watch how efficiently they manage to forage during this very tricky time when they haven't really sorted themselves out.
Yeah, they're just learning a skill set.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so keep your eyes peeled for mixed feeding flocks, everyone. They really are a delight of autumn.